In the heart of the financial world, on the floor of the New York Stock Exchange. The opening bell and a rally of the stock market. Good news for the moment. A place driven by vibes, by risk, by instinct, and haunted by the 2008 crash, had bet that after one heck of a weekend, the chance of contagion was low.
Yeah, I think at this point right now, I think the nervousness level has gone down significantly. I think coming into Monday with the S&P futures trading as high as they were, with that fear of, wait, we're seeing an inverse relation as to the headlines versus what the market's reaction is. I think we've washed out some of that, but again, we've all lived this before and we're waiting for what is that next headline?
And a week is a long time in this world.
A day is a long time, an hour is a long time in this world. Things can pivot very quickly, as you've seen.
The decision by President Biden to guarantee all the deposits of all the customers of the three failed banks was as remarkable as it was drastic. Broadly, it calmed nerves. Shares in other mid-sized banks were down, but then rallied. There are many economic factors at play here, and only so many levers available in Washington to attempt to provide stability. Controlling inflation is key, and yes, prices are continuing to rise. The main control lever is interest rates. Officials were looking at whether to raise them more aggressively to slow inflation. But these niche banks failed in part because of interest rates they could not cope with. For Silicon Valley Bank's customers, clearly there is huge relief from Biden's decision.
I'm so grateful for the U.S. government for stepping in, because small and medium-sized businesses like ours would have no access to capital overnight. And I feel like we were really just swept up in this panic and this frenzy over the last few days when we had absolutely nothing to do with it.
All of this raises a few key questions. First, was the government spooked into its drastic action by a tech sector which fanned fears of a systemic problem? Secondly, why wasn't the government monitoring unusual banks like this for any potential wrongdoing? Third, what now for inflation? Interest rates, maybe they cannot come down, but if they don't, then what does that mean for inflation for us all? The metaphors write themselves, but the bubble that would impact us all has not burst. The inflation bubble, well, that's proving harder to pop. Mark Stone, Sky News at the Stock Exchange in New York.